All right, welcome to the Rocket Launcher podcast. This is episode 120, 120, and I am your host, Supreme King. Join with me as always is my co-host, and his name is.
It's your guy on Mazes.
How's everything going, man? How you doing? We
I'm
took a
doing all right.
hiatus, but how
We
you doing?
did.
How you doing
I'm
right
doing.
now?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing good. I actually read this funny. So I saw a meme. So I don't know how true it is because I didn't look into it. But
Uh-huh.
apparently Robert Pattinson got stopped, like at the airport, and the
Oh
like
man.
security agent though just recognized him and was like, "Hey, you're that Twilight guy. Why'd you stop acting?" And he just looked at him and was like, "I'm Batman." Like so, it's nice that
See, that's
he
crazy
embraced
too,
that
cause
role.
that's how I look at him. I'm like, that dude is. I always called him just Twilight.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
Well, so the
Twilight.
issue was, and there's people who followed his career knew he would do a good job as Batman.
Uh
After he
huh.
did Twilight, he did a bunch of just indie films. That was it. He got out of the big Hollywood scene. So
Hmm.
people who followed him was like, he's really good at acting. It was just people from the mainstream saw him in Twilight, and then that was it.
Yeah.
And then he was gone. But I like one. I think it's funny that like whoever this is didn't even realize like, did you not see the Batman? And two, with all those reports that kept going about how like it seemed like Robert Pattinson did not like the role, like the fact that he embraces it, it's like, dude, I'm this person. Uh, Makes me happy.
I'm gonna watch the movie. I haven't seen it, but
Oh, I
I've been
saw it in
seeing a lot
theaters.
of I've seen a lot of like art and figures that I've been like following on some like I actually haven't really been following, but you know how like on social media they just like assume you want to see certain fandoms. All of a
Yes.
sudden Batman just became like one of them that they just started assuming that I wanted to see. And I don't even know, like I didn't say like get it off my screen or nothing. And so it's just like there. And I remember seeing a lot of like compilations of like all the Batman as like action figures put together with all the Batmobiles and stuff. And I think that's dope. I think it's extra dope. And that's been on my feed lately. But
Okay.
yeah, anyways, gaming podcast. I think there's a Batman game out there. You know, Batman the VR game. Shout out to that game. Shout out to whoever played it. I didn't play it. I don't have a VR headset.
Hey.
But anyways, I do want to address right now while we're still in the intro. The game on the screen, I believe, is your footage, which is the Dragon Age footage, and I wanted to address some of the actual like conversations from last week that we missed because it was like right in the middle of the holiday when we
Yeah.
normally record, and so we weren't going to record on Thanksgiving. But the internet was talking about not necessarily a Dragon Age per se, but Avowed and South of Midnight were two big games coming from the Xbox side of things. Both games will be available on Game Pass day and date, and I believe Avowed is like this upcoming February. But the talk around it reminded me of Dragon Age because it
Oh.
was basically like South of Midnight is supposed to be like really showing you a lot of heavy themes of like 30, 40, 50 years ago black culture from the South. The deep
Okay.
South is what they was calling it. And I know at one point you were saying you was going to do content regarding this type of subject matter, and
Sorta.
um, that got thrown into the like it's woke category. And
That's
Avowed,
actually starting to go too far.
yeah, Avowed was somewhat similar, but Avowed was more like on the level of where Dragon Age was, where it was just more about like choosing your genders and stuff like that. And I kind of like wanted to address that. I think, especially right now, I'm very excited about playing video games right now. I think we kind of have to just like take a step back and just breathe for a second because the conversation in gaming is not about gaming no more. if you've noticed.
It's not.
With a lot of different things, it's like you would have thought you was on a news channel for some of this stuff, right? And I kind of feel like we have deviated just a little too much. I can understand not wanting certain themes in certain games and stuff, but there was someone on a podcast that I follow a lot that shout out to the Iron Lords podcast. I play them a lot of time when I'm around in the house doing chores and stuff. And one particular person on there, his name is Laura Cognito. He mentioned that we have to stop for a second and have some empathy. And I kind of want to just like reiterate that because while we're raging at a game because of some of their choice matters, like we don't really think that at some point we're sending a message to a certain group of people or a certain person that we don't want you here almost. And it's kind of like a like I can understand like you don't want your game to be somewhat corny in a certain way, or like they dull down some of the like dude bro he-man type of like rage blowing everything up type of thing to put certain themes in there. But at the same time, um in an RPG, I think this was mentioned in that podcast or another podcast, it's like you are playing a role, right? You're kind of playing like you choose a role and you choose a type of person anyway, so it almost does make sense that a pronoun might be in there.
Yeah.
Um but um when
That
you
being
like
like
rate
RPGs are made like the whole created a character
mm-hmm,
process is just that. You're creating a character. I know sometimes like you sometimes use like the kind of generic one, but I spend a lot of time in the
yeah,
game
it's kind
engine
of like you just got
just
to
putting
relax a little
myself.
bit.
Yeah, a lot of people are
Yeah.
putting themselves in the game. That's why a lot of people like games that have like custom characters because they feel more connected to the character because it's essentially them. So like to get so mad over pronouns where it's like you could just not pick that. Like they're not forcing you to
Yeah.
be something, right? Like you're fully picking it, and I think people do need to calm down. I agree.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny because I actually have I'll tell a very interesting story where it was not really a story, but like in my profession, sometimes when I have to speak to somebody, um, there were moments where I have I have to ask the question, what gender do you identify as? And you'll be surprised at how many people where the conversation was fine until that point.
Yep.
And it was just like I would lose somebody immediately right then and there. And it's like I guess it is still very triggering for a lot of people, but I kind of feel like we're really taking it just a little too far sometimes. Like I understand to an extent some people who don't want to see certain changes and certain things. I can see your perspective, but what this one person said, have some empathy because you're almost at the point where you're trying to you're almost saying without saying it out loud, you don't want a certain person to exist at all,
Yep.
basically. And that's where we get a little too crazy because like now you're in like Thanos territory where you're just like you wanna snap somebody right out of existence, and I think that's not the right energy to have.
Yeah.
South of Midnight is not necessarily the about pronouns per se. The thing that people were upset about that was because it's supposed to tackle heavy themes from like MLK time frame basically. And you can
Okay.
already think about we've already had plenty of studies on that when we were all in elementary and middle school and high school, whatever.
Yeah.
But this might be one of the first times that we'll see that within a game. I don't think I've ever seen that ever in a game, but
Not direct.
apparently, yeah. And not that like specific either.
Yeah.
And so I'm still going to
The
be
games
interested in
tackled
what I
race.
see, but yeah. Say it again. What'd you say?
Games have tackled like racism and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, I've seen it in like certain games. But it's usually like it's a tangent. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
what people have legit gone through. So I'm interested. I where I worry is when it's a message versus being preachy, right? Like if the whole
Right.
point is you're just trying to preach it at me to make a point, then it's not really for me. Uh,
So
versus if
that's
it's just
where
a thing in the game, right? Picking your pronouns versus having a 50-minute mission based solely off of pronouns are two very different
so people took offense to Dragon Age before the game was fully out. I think based off reviews and stuff, that was the only
things.
thing they was going off of because I believe one of the scenes you got to do push-ups or something
Which
with
is
one of
crazy
those.
because I'm about 10 hours in, I think. I've unlocked everybody. I've been taking my time and been like going through and enjoying the stuff, and I still haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, so that was a thing there. I know you could tell me more about it cuz I didn't actually play it yet, but Spider-Man 2, the whole mission with like the boyfriends and something like that. Like
Which one?
it was a
Oh, I
side
remember.
mission.
That
Yeah.
was okay. All it was, all this was, and you don't even really have to do it.
Mhm.
Uh, but it's a side mission where one of the kids at like the high school Miles goes to,
Mhm.
uh, wanted to ask another boy to prom,
Right, right.
and he wanted help. Like, so you like do all this like you help like set things up, and because you can get it up in the air and everything for his little prom proposal. Like, I completely forgot until you just brought that up. It literally like if you do the mission, it takes all of like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and so it like the news around it was like big when the game came out outside of like the other stuff. But um I'm right there with people when I say is if you feel like something's like pushing agendas or something on you, maybe um the gaming industry and developers do need to tone certain things down because on the other end, there was always this thing where it's just like where are the male protagonists that was starting to become a thing. But
Yeah,
I think we need to not be at an energy where we're trying to say certain things don't need to exist at all. If anything, it should just be funny enough coming from Thanos, perfectly balanced. Remember him putting the
yeah.
his knife or something on his finger. Things should be a little bit more balanced. I will admit it does look like things are not balanced in gaming right now, but I don't think that it should be like one side shouldn't exist at all. Like that seems a little odd to me to have that kind of energy, and it almost seems like that's where we're at because some of these games like this stuff is only like showing up sporadically in sprinkles, right? I don't have an issue with something being in there in sprinkles. But I can understand having an issue if you completely change the character that has not been like that type of character for like 50 to 100 years, and thousands of comics, thousands, well not thousands, but like tens of movies and stuff, and then all of a sudden you've
Jesus Christ, sounds of a comic.
completely like race swapped someone or something. I understand where people could come from, but I don't feel like you should be on the energy that they should not exist anymore. I think that's kind of crazy. I didn't think I was going to talk about this that long. I just wanted to mention it real quick because that was like a crazy thing. I'm like, yo, we was writing Thanksgiving and stuff. Like we should be, giving thanks, right? Well, a lot of people was not on that energy. And it was surrounding some of these games. I will be heavily into Game Pass in 2025 for sure because I bought a lot of these codes and I got to use them, right? And
Yeah.
then the Rogue Ally code I have to activate before 20, I think it was May 2025, and that's going to actually get activated way earlier. I'm going to use cuz I have like codes that I had from where I bought basically that I haven't used yet and just kind of left in a folder basically on my computer. And then I had some codes that I actually dug out over Thanksgiving from games that I bought because I had a bunch of games where they were like, here's 2 weeks trials and stuff. And I wanted to start burning through that first and then like letting it lapse for a few days in between and then just start going through all my codes basically.
Okay.
Um but yeah, I just wanted to mention that real quick. And then we can move forward. But yeah, definitely check out South of Midnight, Avowed, and Dragon Age. I still feel like Dragon Age still, for me, it
Hmm.
still looks a little cartoony.
It is.
But
Matter of fact, I saw an image where somebody sort of like fixed the proportions of the characters
hmm
because it has that. I think it's called Uncanny Valley. It's like this
hmm
uncanny feeling where it's like something's supposed to look human, but it's off, right?
hmm
And it's like for all I can, I know it's because they went with the cartoon route, but it was like their heads are a little too big and their shoulders are a little too small. Like it feels like for everybody, uh, everyone. Like it's off. They all look too cartoony. It throws it off a little.
yeah. Well,
But, oh, and real quick, like I said before, it's a good RPG. It's a fun game. I'm enjoying it. It's not great at being a Dragon Age game. Uh, so there's that. But other than that, I'm enjoying it.
well, that's cool. I don't know if I really need to go in chronological order, but I bought all the other games and I never played Dragon Age, and I actually want to play the other ones first. If anybody bought any of these stuff this past Black Friday or um, any other time, the Dragon Age games were all under $10 each. I actually had the first two of them from the Xbox 360 that was like $1.50 each, something like that. It was really, really, really cheap, like
So I've only played
ridiculous
Inquisition.
cheap.
I've
hmm
only played Inquisition, but I put like 138 hours in Inquisition.
Yeah. South of Midnight, I don't think has a release date yet. If anything, it's still just a Game Pass game, so it will be in there if you have it. Avowed is apparently considered to be very, very good outside of its little like hiccup that it got. I think with Avowed, there was also the issue that was similar to Hogwarts, where somebody on Twitter basically starts saying some like crazy stuff
Uh,
that I don't even really want to go into. I'll tell you later. I think it's I don't think it's really necessary to say immediately in the beginning of the show because I know YouTube has this little thing it does.
oh, that bad?
But it was like yeah, he was basically, so I could say it in a way where you know what I'm saying without saying. He was just like, I'm sick of hiring these people. If you are these people of this ethnicity, like start applying because we gonna try to hire you because I'm sick of these crusty old blah 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 blah. Blah. And
Gotcha.
it was one of the developers of Avowed. And Microsoft was very quiet on the matter. They just had him take down a bunch of tweets. And so that almost derailed the momentum of Avowed.
Yeah.
But it had nothing really to do with the developers and the game itself. It was just one executive and one knucklehead last week. And so, but the game does have its pronouns. I know there was that crowd that was like annoyed with that. But again, you're playing. That's going to be more of like a Skyrim before, or not Sky. Well, Elder Scrolls 6 before Elder Scrolls 6, basically. So it still has its hype a little bit, but It had that type of attention basically last week. Avowed is set to come out sometime in February. I'll go more over February releases when we get to February. It will be day and date in the Game Pass, so look out for that. I do want to talk about releases that we're gonna have for December somewhere later in the show, and my crazy list of purchases that I have for Black Friday overall, which is really just all of November. I'm gonna just tally up everything and let everybody know about that at some point in the show, in that Epic Games portion of the show. But on a lighter note, um, PlayStation, we could probably talk about PlayStation real quick. They had their 30th anniversary thing officially, I guess, outside of like the gray system and the controller that seems to be impossible to get.
Yeah.
Um, they actually released a cool looking trailer that they had on YouTube, followed by some themes that they had on the PS5, which gave you the ability to basically like put your favorite theme from an older system on there, and it would have like the sound of that system. And they did the startup thing too, which was somewhat
On
of
the
a
old
surprise.
PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was able to go in there. I actually did the PS2 one.
I
I
had the PS2 for a while. I just switched it to PS3.
Yeah,
And yeah, I love the PlayStation 1 startup. It was nostalgic. It's fun.
yeah. As far as like being on the PS1's menu on there, like I don't remember that. I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember like those sounds that much. I only remembered the startup. But the PS2 one is really cool to have that one on there because I'm going to be actively using the PS3 a little bit in 2025 as well. So I didn't really want to use that one, and I'm still definitely up on PS4. While
Yeah.
everybody is like going on and on about Bloodborne and everything that I'm addressing in a minute, um, I'm playing that on PS4 right now. So it made the most sense for me to just do the PS2 thing, but it was pretty dope. I thought it was pretty dope. The trailer. Did you see the trailer that they put
I
out
didn't
on
know.
YouTube? It was like thank you for 30 years, and they were really selective. Like if you actually looked at it, it looked like majority of it was like all the stuff that they have from PS4 till now, and then
Uh,
they threw in like a little bit of Crash, and then Infamous was in there slightly, but it was like some of them older properties like was noticeably missing.
they don't
But
want people getting their hopes up.
yeah,
As soon as
I
you
think
show the
the
older stuff, people goes bring it back.
yeah. So they like there was no like I don't think I saw Resistance. I didn't see Killzone. I didn't see like you could really like anything that was like completely dead by the time you got to the end of the PS3. It was just like nowhere.
Uh,
So I was like, this don't really look like 30 years. It looked like the last 15, but that's okay. That's okay. It's still dope though. It was still dope. It was like they kind of did it almost in an emotional way where it's just like thank you and here's all these characters and they're kind of like they had this like certain type of music that was like really dramatic in a way. But I thought it was dope. I thought it was dope. Um there were some rumors because I think officially the day was supposed to be not September, December 3rd, right? Is the official actually 30 years. And there was a whole bunch of stuff that I had wrote on here about what they were going to show that people thought. And obviously Bloodborne was one of them where they was like, oh, they're going to finally announce that they're going to have a remaster. And it's like, well, they didn't do that. But in that trailer, Bloodborne was one of the last things that they showed. And so that's got people actually like hoping again. But the one thing that I was actually looking forward to seeing, they didn't do, which there was like a rumor that they were supposed to have an all black dual sense edge controller,
oh,
which I was like, oh, I would like to see how that would be. And then it was supposed to have like a SKU where it's like $215 or 216, which I thought was like, man, we're gonna really increase the price on that just for the color. But I wanted to see it, and I guess that didn't happen. Um, Other than that, what else I got on here? Um, this is not really a rumor. This is fact, I guess. So not just Xbox, but PlayStation is also supposed to be coming out with another handheld.
Yeah,
Um,
I
and
heard about that.
so yeah, I think going forward, the console war may really end up being a handheld war.
They said they want to
Um,
compete with Nintendo.
yeah, and so because on the PC side, it's already a group of handhelds as it is. For a lot of people, they just feel like they must have like one piece of everything in a way. Like, so I don't really think the handheld would make that much sense for me, but the only thing I could think of is just it will allow you to play your digital games without the
Yeah.
PS5. Like you just sign into it and then you just like click install. But I just wonder, like, how do you think the people who got the PS5 Portal, or what is it called? Is that what it's called? Like, how do you think
Yeah.
they probably feel hearing this?
Uh, it depends on how much they use it. Like, if this new system comes out with its own games as well, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not just a more expensive, like, use the PS5, uh, I mean, they might feel some type of way, but at the same time, like, it's not like it was false advertising. Straight up was just like, turn your system on and mirror. Like, so it's all kind of on them for getting it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I don't have that much faith in them doing their own games only because I have to just look at the PSVR 2 and I
Well,
think
I guess more like the Vita, where it's like, I feel like certain, like, lower end games that don't require a lot, it's like you can buy it on PS5 or buy it for this, like, device specifically.
yeah, but I was just saying like they make games that's like you need to have this device to play it. Like I don't think that they're going to really go there with that as much
Mhm.
if at all. I think it's probably just their version of a Steam Deck or a Rogue Ally or something. Um which I kind of believe that's the same thing for Xbox as well, which I don't understand why they would do that while still promoting the Rogue Ally as well.
Well, then
On
again, they do that and they just said you can play Xbox on anything. So,
yeah, with PlayStation is it's an interesting thing too because if they're still actively putting their games on Steam, then if you had the Steam Deck or if you had the Rogue Ally, you probably would just play the Steam version.
yeah.
But I guess it's really going to come down to the point where probably 5 or 10 years from now, it's like everybody really would have their place where they're playing and everybody's playing the same stuff, but it's like this person really is on their phone or this person really is still on a console and this person is on like a random handheld. This person's on their
Yeah.
laptop. Like I think it really is going to be that way, but I don't think everybody's going to call it an Xbox. They're just going to be like I'm on my phone. They're not going to say I'm on the Xbox. The
But
Xbox
I,
is almost like you know what it reminds me of? The
huh,
company Meta or Facebook when they were attempting to like say like if you're gonna have the metaverse we're gonna call ourselves Meta, so
oh
that when
yeah,
you think
and
metaverse you
everybody's
think
like
us.
Facebook.
Yeah, and it's like well nobody even thinks of Meta like that
Nope.
ever. The metaverse died like fast. It had no legs whatsoever. And it's like I think Xbox is, or at least Microsoft is trying to do that. And what's really silly is like they kind of already have that with Windows, so it's like a
Yeah.
head scratcher moment. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of already got that. I don't know what you're doing, but um,
But I wouldn't be surprised if they make a device that's specifically like made for digital library and more specifically PlayStation Plus, and it has its own PlayStation Plus price, where it's like
uh,
you get to access all the stuff through the handheld only. Uh, so it'll be like you can access your normal things if you buy it on the regular PlayStation Plus, or like the device itself has like a slightly cheaper solo PlayStation Plus price, like maybe like 80 for like the extra tier instead of
Hmm.
110, but you can only play it off of the device.
Yeah.
Like I
Um,
wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that.
the main thing that I'm still trying to avoid, though, is one thing that I've said like really a while back, probably even before making the channel, and that's just I do not want to buy the game twice. Whatever
Yep.
the game is, I don't want to buy it twice. And when I do buy it, I want it to have the full complete package. So that's the one thing I'm still a little worried about because as games, what we've seen now, wherever it lands first is not completed. Wherever it lands last is the definitive edition. And you're in a situation where it's like by the time you get to that last point, it's like you really gotta wait. And if you're
Yeah.
really somebody who's excited about something that's new, well, now you're not getting the full experience. And even on top of that, you got to deal with like the issues that come with brand new games, bugs, etc. Right?
Yep.
And so that's the only issue or concern I have with gaming right now because um, that takes away from the fun and experience overall. And as we get to the point where we're really going to have everybody like super divided on all these devices aren't cheap. These devices are really getting up there in price. Because now we're starting to introduce the idea of like a console probably starting at $700. The
Yep.
handhelds already came out the gate at $700. And these controllers, like this 30th edition controller that nobody can get, is $80. And so it's like, man, like it's not cheap. They're really gonna dig into your pockets a little bit. So you want to have the best experience you can while they're doing that. But a little bit more PlayStation news. I found out this is kind of cool. The Lego Horizon game is actually supporting co-op. You could actually go through the game co-op. One person can
Oh
be
shit.
Aloy, the other person has to be like one of them henchmen people, but you can play it co-op apparently.
Oh, a lot of Lego games have co-op, so I
Oh
forgot
well,
about that.
I didn't know. I just figured with that one is like well, there's only one Aloy, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty cool. So I just thought, oh, all right. I wasn't really too pressed on playing it, but it was like one of those games where it's just like I looked at it. It was marketed a little bit more of being like a Lego game that you might consider a little bit more than any other one. So at some point I was like, yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot. And
Hey,
um,
co-op it.
yeah, it's funny because there's a Lego game here that we're gonna talk about in the Epic Games later. But we can move forward. Um, this part is actually interesting because we're still in the PlayStation news, where we might talk about a PlayStation news piece that might be negative depending on how you look at it. Because speaking of Horizon, have you seen this Horizon bootleg ish game out here? Have you seen this game that is called Light of Motiram or
No.
Motiram? Have you seen it? You haven't seen this? So
Uh-uh.
this has been the talk of some news outlets because this is basically Power World but for Horizon. And
Oh.
somebody came out here and made this game. And the part that makes me roll my eyes a little bit is that the gameplay is supposed to be Souls like, but they decided to take Horizon's mechanics and some of their robots that you would normally see in Horizon and put it in this game. And
Oh.
it looks like an almost carbon copy. It almost looks like they stole the whole thing. I mean the graphics aren't as crisp, right? But it just looks like yo, they they really ripped it off. They ripped the game off completely. And yeah, so it's a situation that I think was probably going to be very interesting because if people remember, there was a little game that came out on, or it didn't come out. They attempted to have this come out and it was pulled like the very first day that it was supposed to come out. But you remember Nintendo tried to make a Last of Us clone
Yeah,
or some sort of like
they had to.
some sort of zombie apocalypse game, but they made
Yeah,
it look like Last of Us with
was it a
the
guy in the
promotion.
past had to go to the future to get the cure to stop the zombie apocalypse in the past or something? And
Yeah, and the
that's
little
yeah,
girl
that
showed
random
up just
girl.
for the photo op. Like they were I just wanted to mention it because PlayStation typically doesn't really um worry too much about people making certain type of games, but they did shut that one down. And
Yes.
I'm just wondering if they're gonna do that for Horizon because
Oh,
Herman
I don't
Helse.
know, cause like you don't own robot animals. Like I feel like
Mm-hmm.
you can't really own that. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
I just wonder because Herman Helms, I think is his name. Herman Helms or Herman Helse. Somebody help me with that. But he's like the head PlayStation guy right now, right? Or at least one of them, because I think he shares that spot. And because of that, that's why you're seeing a lot of this like Horizon stuff right now. So I
Uh,
wonder if he might like, pull his weight and be like, listen, y'all better get this up out of here. Um,
well, you
but
might.
yeah, at least right now, that game has been announced and the internet went and took it by storm. Under the trailers and stuff, a lot of people are laughing at it like tongue in cheek. And because it's Souls like, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people probably try to play it just for views. But yeah, it exists for now. It exists. But I wonder how many more of these type of situations you think we're going to start having? Because technically, people copy certain game styles, but they don't really like copy to the T. The one game that really sort of got away with it, or at least deflected everybody's attention, was Genshin Impact. That was
Oh,
one where somehow, some way, the energy went from you're copying Breath of the Wild to it's a free to play game, and then all of a sudden, did nobody care? And then
right.
it just like had this big fan base that grew, and the game is able to exist on a lot of platforms, and there's no Power World type situations. Nintendo didn't go there at all, right? And it's like you think they probably would the way that they did with Power World, but they didn't. And you think this is gonna keep happening? Like what else? What?
Yes, but I
Okay.
feel like it's always happened. However, because it takes now so long to make a game, and we don't have as many double A games where there's so much like experimentation, it's more noticeable.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's been like it's always been. It's like you got this fighter, and then here's these 9 fighters that no one's heard of, that kind of like plays the same way. But there was also like here's this car destruction rally game. Here's this sports game. Here's this street ball sports game. Here's this. Here's this. Here's this. So there was so much to consume that it was easy to like kind of ignore those knockoffs. But now that it's like think about how many platformers all play the same,
Yeah.
right? And it's all the same thing. But like now, if you're only getting like one platformer a year, and they decide to use like a bandicoot, and then like the following one, all of a sudden they want to use a kangaroo. Everybody's like, those are both Australian animals, and it's the same type of platformer. It's the same thing. So I think it's like way more noticeable now because of that.
It's
So it's gonna
interesting
keep
because
happening, but
at one point though, because I want to bring up this, and then we could probably move on. There was a genre that's actually still going right now, very big genre, that's called the Metrovania genre, which
uh,
is the 2D games that have like a certain look, right? And so many of them, if you didn't really like know the game, you would think they were like pretty much all the same.
Yep.
But it's like if we kept that energy that we have right now, or what I think is going to be, then you wouldn't have a whole bunch of really cool 2D hack and slasher ish games, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I wonder if it's a bad thing to have everybody attack each other. I would still rather at this point. This would be my last thing to say about it. Because games take so long to come out and it costs so much money, I would rather they put their focus on just continuing to try to get games out and polish games than to try to pay lawyers to go after other games.
Right.
Because you're just kind of like, it's not gonna make me like, I'm not pressed to buy a Pokemon game more now because you tried to take down Power World, or if you successfully do it. You know,
Yep.
that's
Also,
not
on a
gonna.
side note,
Mm-hmm.
thinking about that too, I'm a little more forgiving now about like copies because of how long
Mm-hmm.
development takes. If you're making this game, which I think sometimes is why we're getting ads for a game that comes out 4 years later, it's
Mm-hmm.
because if you're working on this game in secret, it's in secret. So no one knows you're making it. So if you're making, I don't know, let's say a pirate game, and then you drop it, and then some double A studio who has to take a little bit longer was also happened to be working on a pirate game. They didn't know
Yeah.
you were making a pirate game. So now they've sunken in all these years, and they're like, well, screw it, we're still going to release our pirate game. Uh,
Right.
and then
Right.
so, especially when a copy comes out here, the original, then it's like, I don't think it's a copy. I think it was just two people had the same idea and started working on it.
Yeah.
Well,
And I
again, a
think.
little more forgiving. Plus,
I,
again, people are not taking as many risks. They're trying to go with just what's worked. So because of that, things are going to look similar because everyone's only going with the formula they know works. If everyone likes ninjas, expect there to be a bunch of ninja games.
yeah. I think I mentioned this before when we were talking about like the Power World situation. Like I think I remember saying like um I just lost my train of thought. I'm
My
trying to think
bad.
about it as I'm saying it, but it's like I think it was to your point. Like we, I can't even think of it now. That's so crazy. All right, it'll come back to me in a second, but we could probably move on. Real quick though, I want to give a shout out to my game of choice right now that I am playing, which is Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. This isn't Tears of the Kingdom on the screen. This is actually the Hyrule Warriors game, I believe, Age of Calamity, which was supposed to be like the what if story if you've already played Breath of the Wild. But I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom a lot lately, and it's just been really, really cool. I'm gonna have a lot of footage to show too, because I've been actively recording a lot for it.
Okay.
Um, and so yeah, pretty cool game, pretty cool game. I had put it down for a while because like literally once you get away from the sky part and you go down to the like ground, it's like night and day. Breath of the Wild, basically. Even though there's a lot more other stuff going on, it's just that's how it looked and that's how it felt. And I remember
Okay.
just putting it down initially because I was like, oh, I just played this in 2020. But no, I picked it back up. It's actually very good. It's very cool. I'm gonna keep playing a whole bunch of other stuff that I've already like started, but that was like I had started that one already too, but like that I think that's like my main game right now, at least ongoing. And I'm still
Okay.
playing the Yu-Gi-Oh game on the Game Boy through emulation.
Nice.
um, but yeah. Anyways, let's move forward. I also wanted to mention real quick because I have on my agenda list the Game Awards. So the Game Awards is actually going to be on the 12th, which will be next Thursday. And I don't know if we said this on air, but we were going to probably move the show to one of our original time frames, which is where it's going to set to come out on the Sunday, and then you and me will probably record it Saturday before we game.
Okay.
Um, because there's no way we're going to do this, even though sometimes we hang out at night. Because I think that show is going to end at like the same time wrestling normally ends. It's gonna start
Oh,
when wrestling starts. So I don't think we want to like really mess around with it. But
nah.
we'll talk about it. We'll talk about some of the awards, and we'll talk about all of the releases, basically, right? All the surprises. There's so many rumored surprises and stuff, but I think the God of War one is still legit. But I wanted to mention one thing that I think we did not pay attention to regarding the Game Awards that I actually, when looking at it, I was like, I would have thought that you would have caught this because I think this is your type of game. But there was a game that was snubbed at the Game Awards on the very level of like Hogwarts Legacy and what we thought would have been Black Myth Wukong. And we
Really?
completely glanced over it. We completely glanced over it, but I'll mention it. And that is the EA Sports College Football 25 is not in the sports category at all. It's
It
not in
isn't.
the.
I
It
thought it was.
isn't. It's not. It's like FIFA and like a couple other ones, but it's not in there from what I've heard. And so
Well, then again, the first month it was out, everybody just kept compiling all of the glitches. So that could be a thing.
yeah, but you think it shouldn't have been mentioned at all though? Like what was in there?
I
Do you know we if we could pull that up? What was in his place? Because people immediately attacked FIFA because FIFA is kind of like the same way,
yeah.
but there was the argument where FIFA is more of a worldwide thing, where this is more like in the states, the college football.
Let me see what I can find.
So I don't know, but I just thought it was interesting that it was not front and center right there because if we compare it to being like where Hogwarts the level of sales, it still got a nice amount of sales, you know. Um and so yeah, it
Best
it
sport.
yeah, best sport
Oh yeah,
category
that's weird.
is not there, but
Yeah, EA Sports, Football Club, F1, NBA, Top Spin, and WWE 2K24.
yeah, we put WWE there too.
Yeah, it might just be a thing against EA. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, I just know it got like a big like praise after a while. People was trying to act
Yeah,
like it was better than Madden. They were saying all these different things.
it was.
But yeah, it just
From
wasn't
my
mentioned.
understanding, matter of fact,
Mhm.
every like innovative thing they put in the latest Madden game was
Mhm.
just like it came from the college football game. They just started moving
Mm.
that stuff in there, but did it worse somehow, even though it's their game. Uh,
So
oh yeah, at
also,
launch the game attracted more than 2.8 million players, 2.2 million of whom purchased the deluxe edition, which allowed them 3 days early access. Oh yeah, it was.
yes. So that's crazy for it to just not get mentioned at all, though. You know,
Yeah,
it could have been one like as crazy as it is. Like we threw WWE in there. You could have threw it in there. It
could
it,
have. They
it should
definitely
have
could
it should have been mentioned, but also within the Game Awards. So that's the main Game Awards with Jeff Keighley. But I think it was the Joystick Awards. So I think it was that one.
have.
They
Okay.
actually did give their main game of the year win to the DLC of Elden Ring.
Uh-oh. I don't like this. I don't
They
like this happening.
actually did do it. And so that's not really the show that everybody's watching or anything. And I didn't even like, I don't think there was any actual highlights or anything. It's just the news came out that they gave them the actual award. And so, yeah,
It's
that
crazy that
DLC is going to win some stuff.
we went from people arguing God of War 2 shouldn't be nominated because it was just more God of War 1 to now games that it like this is legit more of like winning. That's crazy.
What was really crazy about that one, too, though, is just like the timing of it. Like, it completely missed the date. But we knew that they was never going to, like, not included though, even though it
True.
missed the date. Like they like it came out and then 3 weeks later it was like in the award show. It's like it's
I
like
mean, do you think it would have like people would have remembered it for the next year?
no, they wouldn't have remembered it for the next year. But technically, even though I was very big on it that year and my channel got a lot of views based on the type of videos I was making around it, I still in the back of my head thought that it probably didn't qualify just based on the technicality. But at the same time, it just made for a big moment in gaming for that year because it looked like it was a heavy hitter versus a heavy hitter, you know. Now like afterwards and stuff, especially with last year to now, it looks a lot more even, which is what you really want to see because that in general that means that you know, you have all these games that you get to play and try out and stuff because the award show is supposed to show you like some cool world premieres, but then it's also supposed to tell you about great games that you've missed. And you know, that's what we're seeing right now a little bit more than before, because before like it really did come down to Elden Ring versus God of War, to the point where like every award that year was like split between those two. It was it was pretty like silly the way that they had did it when you really think about it, because I think they gave the big one to Elden Ring, right, and then gave like all the little ones to God of War. It's like logically speaking, it wouldn't have made sense for God of War to win all of those and not the main one.
Yeah, God of War
Um,
should have won all of them. I did come to think about it. It was like, when we were saying like if it's the game of the year, then it should win all of the little ones. Otherwise, it should be nominated. And that I don't agree with anymore. I do feel like you can have like one game that's really good for sound, one game that's really good for this, one game that's really good for that, but then a third game that's like it does all of it well. Maybe not
yeah,
better individually, but together as a full package. But God of War winning everything that would make it Game of the Year over Elden Ring, and then Elden Ring being Game of the Year, that doesn't make sense.
yeah. Well, we can move forward. Justice for EA Sports 25 or College Football 25.
Yeah,
But anyways, I just want to go ahead and just give the shout out to Epic Games. It's pretty cool this time around because we are on the cusp of them getting ready to do their mystery game thing again. And for anybody who was not aware of them giving out free games after I don't know how many times I done told you, definitely create your profile under Epic Games, even if you do not have a PC, especially right now this year. Because if you don't have it and then you finally get one, you have all these games that you can just like play because it was a part of your profile. You don't need a credit card. You just need to create a gamer tag, and you know, you can start claiming all these games. But right now, so the main ones that they have right now, one of them is called Bus Simulator 21
yeah,
Next
man.
Stop,
If you want to be a
which
bus driver, bro, or
I've
ride the
had
bus,
my
you can choose.
fair share of times with the bus back in the day that I don't want to
But now
relive
you
that
get to
ever
be the
again.
driver mainly,
I
but
will
mainly.
flip it basically.
I didn't really like look into it, but you get to be the driver.
And then also at the same time, which is available right now, the Lego Star Wars game, the Skywalker Saga. Um,
Yeah,
I had bought that one already, but I will have this one as well on PC now. And I didn't actually play it yet because I didn't watch the last film, the one that everybody said was trash. I was like, I gotta watch that first, and then I'll play. But I'm gonna play the game once I watch the last film. I think it might have been two films I need to watch from
I
Disney.
mean, if you wanted
Um,
to start the game, it's nine movies in
yeah, I could
one.
probably start like a part of it and then just stop,
Yeah,
right? But yeah, both games are available right now until December 12th. and then at that time they have the gift wrap as the actual thumbnail on it right now, but it's going to be the first mystery game. And I believe they've done this before where it lasts either all the way to Christmas or all the way to New Year's. But they give a game away every day. So it's going to change from being once or two games a week or something to like literally every day. And it's going to be at 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so people just need to make sure you remember so that you claim the game every day. Because by the time you get to the next day, it will be gone that fast. And I'll try to keep up with them just to like announce what they were. But by the time we get to the next week, like you would have missed like half the week. So you got to make sure you are on it every day. Just check it real quick and literally hit get, I believe is the button, and then just claim it. But it's going to be roughly around 17 to 20 games. And what I remember just from the past is they do give you at least one to two surprises in there that is actually really worth it, worth big money, like some AAA games, right? And they've
Yeah.
already gave away a couple AAA games already, but they're gonna do it there, and it's gonna be some really cool stuff. And so definitely make your profiles. If you have not done it, you should have been doing it this whole time, especially if you've been listening to me. I put you on a long time ago at this point. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually very excited to see not only those two games, but for me, I'm very big on the Metrovania looking games right now. And I know they're going to throw a couple of those out there as well. And so it's more and more games now. I'm getting ready to tell y'all what I bought for Black Friday. So it's like I probably don't need none of these after all these purchases that I bought, but I really opened up the checkbook at one point once they start bringing out all these surprises. But do you got anything to say about these Epic games? Any of these games that you're looking forward to? Is there something there that's a surprise from, let's say, last year? Was there something a surprise that they did that you remember or that you were like happy that you didn't have to buy anymore? Have they done that
Oh,
for you a couple times?
they've done it a couple times. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't remember, but I get interested in some of the indie games, like things that I think would look interesting, but I probably wouldn't have purchased right away. So it's always nice I get a chance to try those out.
I did buy Dragon Age Inquisition at one point, but I remember they gave it away on here. I remember they gave away Ghostwire Tokyo not too long ago. Also the Callisto Protocol not too long ago, and I heard that they really like polished and worked on that game by now, so it's actually slightly better than what everybody was saying from before. I remember they gave out Alien Isolation, and I didn't actually own that at all. Um, and a couple other ones, but those are the ones that came to mind. I think there was a game that I think was called Solus. I believe I remember being really happy about it because it was one of the indie games that I was following, and it was like brand new, and they just put it on there, and it retailed at like $40, and I was like, "Yo, they gave this away right away." And then also, I believe it was called Death Gamblet, which is another one that they did recently. That was more of a 2D Souls like side scroller ish type game. I'm big on
Nice.
those right now. So yeah, they done it a bunch of times where I've definitely like paid attention to it and stuff, right? Now,
Oh, I do have something.
sure.
Prime Gaming. If you have an Amazon Prime account,
Mm-hmm.
and if you have an Epic, or you can get also, it's the GOG account, which is also free. You'll need both of those, and you could just they have like 15 games available right now.
I did. I think I did see that. I did see
Yep, I
that.
claimed all of them, and like some of them get added directly to your Epic Game Library, some of them get added to the GOG library, and then some is directly through Amazon Games.
Okay. Maybe we can. Maybe you can help us. Like keep up with those going forward because I think
Yeah, it's
they.
usually the beginning of the month, and they'll drop like 15 games.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, some cool stuff out there. Well, Black Friday was very interesting this year. I just wanted to mention that because I remember within our recordings and stuff, like maybe it was 2 episodes or last episode, um, or the episode, the last one we done was 2 weeks ago. Basically, I was a little doom and gloom because I thought that they were just not going to have the sales that I wanted. And the main thing was like literally the the two controllers. So I kind of still want the 30th edition controller as well. I'm just kind of like annoyed where I'm just like I don't even want to waste my time anymore if it's just not going to be available, you know? But I was still able to get the controller that I wanted, which was the light blue and black one for the PS5 and also
Nice.
the all black one. Cuz I remember like as we were recording the last episode, right? I was saying they didn't really come out with too many sales, but I got some of these games that I'm just going to mention again. But I as soon as we were done, I think it was either that night or the night after. Um, basically they loaded in their real Black Friday stuff, and I really didn't think they were going to do it because they didn't announce anything. Where before in previous years they would tell you this is what the Black Friday stuff is going to be like the week before and stuff, and you could really prepare. Maybe it was probably because they wanted people to still like pay for certain things at the regular price or something. But
Most likely.
I don't know. But I'm gonna go over some of the stuff I had already bought earlier in the month, but was like counting it towards Black Friday because it was like on the 19th and stuff like that. And then everything else, right? Did you buy anything? Did you get a chance to buy anything? Not even if it was just for Black Friday and stuff, because I know you
Yeah,
had
I
other
bought two
stuff going
things.
on. But what did you get?
Uh, I got Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Okay.
Um, and I bought Immortals Phoenix Rising on Steam.
Tiny Tina, you know what I just saw? That went back on sale on Steam just now for $12.
I did see that.
It
Like
did.
after you got yours, and then I saw it, and I was like, ah, it's okay. I'll get it for PS5.
Almost I
You
I
almost
always had
returned
wanted to like
double.
try to figure it out and return it, but I was like, nah, that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of the things that I had got. So I'm not gonna try to go over like every detailed price or anything, or we'll be here all day. But just know I got some of the sales, and if y'all look up some of these Black Friday sales, y'all know what the prices was. So, from Best Buy, I had got Octopath Travelers 2, and I think that was something that I may have mentioned before. And that wasn't the only thing that I got from Best Buy. I think it was a part of a package deal. I had also got The Last Faith, the physical version on PS5, and then Sea of Stars on PS5. And I think that was all in one thing, or maybe not. I don't know. But that was something that I think I have mentioned on here before. And then from there, I think I mentioned to you off air, but I had got the three Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which was the three
Egyptian
Egyptian
gods.
god cards. Probably the cheapest thing out of everything. That was like $6 altogether for all three, and they were like the official ones and like holographic and stuff. And I was like, okay, cool, right? Reminds me of my childhood a little bit. Um, I think I may have mentioned this too. I had got The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom at some point earlier in November. And then this is a whole bunch of. I also got a whole bunch of shirts for work, if anybody cares, and a winter hat, if anybody cares. And then I finally got my two controllers. These were the main things that I wanted. Everything else was just kind of like just getting it. But the blue and black controller that I mentioned before, and then I have Tiny Tina's Wonderland that I got for the PS5. And then I actually got Metal Gear Solid the Collection on PS5. If anybody knows, that is Metal Gear 1, 2, and 3 from the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. Yes, I do already have them through emulation. It was just they was like $18 or something. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of like $6 a game, and I know they've like worked on the controls and stuff. It wasn't, maybe it's not as jank. So I got that on PS5. All of this is my physical games that I've mentioned so far. And some of the stuff actually hasn't come in the mail yet. Um, like Rise of the Ronin. I actually went against my other judgment because before I was saying I'm not gonna buy anything that's over $30, right? Rise of the Ronin is the PS5 game that everybody says is like Ghost of Tsushima. That one was $30 exactly. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna grab it because it's very cheap right now. And it's not gonna get that cheap again for another year. Maybe two. And then also some winter gloves that ain't came in the mail. And I gotta complain about that, bro. Amazon tripping. How you gonna tell me this is arriving? The gloves and Rise of the Ronin, I'm not gonna get according to this until January 20th or the 22nd. Somewhere up in there. Now it's kind of messed up too because the Rise of the Ronin is like, well, maybe I might want to play it right away, but I need them gloves now though. Like you can't give me them gloves at like the end of January. Like by the time we get there, it's like almost over. Like I need them like now.
Did you pick for it to ship separately?
I think when I was buying stuff, I bought those together.
Yeah, but you can tell it to ship things when available instead of shipping in one package.
Yeah, some of these are multiple pack. Like everything I've mentioned, well, not everything, but a lot of what I've mentioned so far is actually under Amazon, and some of this stuff is coming to mail, some of it hasn't. I was just like click and buy on certain things at certain times. But yeah, those two things are the only things that I have that I don't think I have that are not coming in within the next couple of days or something. It's like really like the end of January. It's like it's not even coming out like at least, you know, a week from now or something. It's like, man, you really don't have a copy of, well, Rise of the Ronin is one thing, but like quite literally I want my gloves. But anyways, I'll move forward. I actually bought the full collection of the Pikmin series on Nintendo. And what was really crazy about it is I knew I wanted to buy the first and second one, even though I have like those through emulation as well. I saw that they worked on it and it was a little bit more polished with the controls. That I remember was also another one of my exceptions where it was $30. But they put Pikmin 4 at $30 as well. And I was like, I know Nintendo, they're not going to do this again for a long time, right? And so Pikmin 3 was like the only one where it didn't really have that same $30 sale price. But I was like, if I'm going to buy 1 and 2 and 4, I kind of got to get 3. Like, I can't just not have 3. And so, and I was just really in the spending mood. And I was just like, all right. And I bought all 4. And then another game that's hasn't arrived yet. One of my only other games that haven't arrived yet. I actually bought Spider-Man 2 for the PS5. That was another one. That one was a battleground one where, what I mean by that was that it was initially sold out before the Black Friday deal came in, because apparently I didn't know this was a thing, but you can buy the game real quick and then adjust the price as soon as the price changes within your online order or something. So that was a game that was going to be $30 as well, only at Walmart. Everybody else had it for like 40, right? And everybody had Rise of the Ronin in that one and Silent Hill 2 were all $30 if you can get it. Silent Hill 2 out of this whole thing, I couldn't get. That was the one that I that just couldn't get. I was trying to get it because it would have been the only other like brand new game that would have been at that price that I would have gotten, but it never went back in stock. The Spider-Man just so happened to go in stock when I looked at my phone at like 3 or 4 in the morning, just waking up randomly, and I saw it and then just bought it. Right. So that hasn't arrived yet. It comes this Saturday. That was $30. And then some of these games that I think I mentioned before that I bought earlier in the month. Dead Island 2 on PS5. Assassin's Creed Mirage on Xbox Series X. Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed, also on Series X. Final Fantasy 16 on PS5. That was from like I think the first or second week in November. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown was also like in the first or second week of November. Um, and then I had games that I think I also mentioned before as well that I bought like on November 17th, according to the screenshot. That was the East games, YS, East 1 and 2 Chronicles in like one collection thing, and then East 6, and then East the Oath of uh, Felgana. I think I said that right. So those were actually all of that. The East games was like $14 or something on Steam. So that was my order on Steam. And then I had an order also that I bought on Steam for an old game called Prototype. It was just Prototype 1. Prototype 2, I think, was like $10. Prototype 1 was $5. So I bought Prototype 1. Um, Bro, there's a lot of stuff. I bought Psychonauts 2.
You bought way too much stuff.
Psychonauts 2 on Steam had dropped down to like $15. I had the first one, and yes, this is a game that's probably never going to leave Game Pass, but I kind of just wanted to have it outside of Game Pass because I had the first one. Um, I went ahead, even though I have this in the PS Plus collection, I didn't have the season pass and everything with this, but I saw Resident Evil 7 is a part of the PS Plus collection when that was a PS Plus thing. I bought the Steam version because it came with the definitive version for like $12 or something. And so I bought that on Steam. And I know this ain't it. It looks like it's it, but I'm missing something. Um, I don't see the screenshot, but I do want to mention I also, because I bought Octopath Travelers 2 on PS5. Octopath Travelers 1 was also on sale, but it was only physical on Nintendo. And I actually opted to get the Steam version when I was looking at the visuals side by somebody's like comparison, and just got the Steam version basically. I think that might actually be it. And then believe it or not, I spent a few $100s on some seafood that I'm gonna eat with my sister during the actually probably Sunday. So so yeah, I opened up the checkbook a little bit. It was just one of those things where it was just like um going into the holiday season, I was just like mad about a lot of personal stuff going on with everything else. And I was just like, you know what, I want to feel good. This is a feel good moment. I'm feeling good right now. I got the money, I want to spend it, and I did. I just spent it. And bought a lot of cool stuff and bought some stuff that I needed clothes wise and stuff. And then food like the giant crab leg, like the one that you see like online.
Like we got it.
Yeah. So
You and your seafood boils.
yeah. So yeah, it was a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch of stuff. How much did I spend altogether? I don't even really know, bro. But um, I didn't break the bank too much. Too much. I'm still in control. But yeah, man, my Black Friday was crazy. Earlier today, it don't really count for Black Friday, but earlier today, we're gonna talk about in a second. I did buy the Power Ranger game, on Steam,
Your buy it
and
now? I bought that
huh,
bad boy weeks. I bought that bad boy weeks ago.
yeah, I had like I bought it. I was forgetting about it for a while, the actual date and stuff. But I bought it because I know it still had like a $5 off on Steam or something. Where I think it's normally retailing at like 35, and I think mine was like 29 something or something. And so yeah, that don't really count for Black Friday. That's a December release. That might actually be my last release of the year, or last purchase of the year. And I think I'm video gamed out. Um, but I'm gonna use up a lot of Game Pass codes in order to put footage out for the channel, and I want to try to make an effort to like cover some of those games when they do come out because I'll have access to them day and date. To start adding some value back to the channel because I kind of been very, very not it's not here, not on the channel doing my solo stuff like I should be. But I have a lot of ideas and I've already been recording a lot of stuff. I'm going to start recording certain types of videos like ahead of time so that I'm not on here every week saying I'm about to start coming back and then I don't have nothing. I've already started recording a few things where I'm just almost like a video game. It's like I'm gonna try to polish this a little bit. Let's polish these things a little bit so then when I do release it, it actually has like some value for the people to watch. But yeah, this might be my biggest Black Friday purchase of any of my other Black Fridays. Because it was a lot. It was like every category too. It was like food, clothes, and the games. But yeah, we can move forward. I think we're almost out of like other topics. You want to tell me what's up with because we ain't really talk about your topics yet. What's going on with Elon Musk? This dude is a
Oh yeah.
menace online, but I know you want to mention him real quick.
Yeah.
Go
Real
ahead.
quick, right before that, because I forgot you mentioned it. So for the Power Rangers game that comes out the December 10th on everything. Originally, it was coming out on everything but Switch, and Switch was going to be delayed, but they were able to fix it.
Yeah,
Coming out on Switch too.
we gonna come back to that because that's in my
Uh,
thing. That's in my releases. We
okay.
gonna come back to it.
Uh, but besides that, Elon Musk might be the greatest Diablo 4 player. So, he recorded
That
himself.
sound
He
goofy.
plays a lot of Diablo 4, like a
Uh huh.
lot. And he was recording himself doing one of the like dungeon games that they do like speed runs on.
Mhm.
And right now the speed run record was like 1 minute and 59 seconds to clear the dungeon, and his video has to get authenticated and everything because they take those record book stuff serious. So they have to like authenticate the video, do all this extra checking and all this other stuff. But apparently he cleared it in like 1 minute and 52 seconds. Uh,
Hmm.
which means if he did, he's gonna be the top ranked like person. He's declared it the fastest, and apparently like on whatever records they had, he was like ranked like somewhere in the top 100 like Diablo players in terms of score and everything, and this would like push him up even higher.
Mm.
But yeah, he might be number one.
You sure it's not one of his like his robots? It's not one of his
It could
thing.
be. I just know he was on Twitter talking a lot about the Druid class. At one point when he took a break from talking about other stuff,
I
he
think
was
there was
like,
some clips of
Druid
him
class.
talking about Elden Ring on some
Uh,
interview or something, and people were mentioning that he's informed in the gaming world a little bit.
yeah,
Funny enough, it goes back to one of the other stories that I had earlier about the avowed the avowed executive or developer who was talking out of place about the game on Twitter or X. A part of what happened with that, Elon Musk actually quote tweeted it and like added Phil Spencer or something. Like y'all need to get your boy face. Like you gotta like he kind of like checked him on that, and like the dude was trying to go back and forth with Elon at one point to be like really like I'm going to war with Elon and stuff. He was really full of himself and stuff. That was like a whole thing too that I didn't really mention before, but I just thought about it when we were talking about this. Um, but yeah, Elon. It's almost hard to talk about Elon too as of late because he's been very very vocal on his own platform. I mean, he is his platform, but before when he was there, he was just kind of there almost like a celebrity guest appearance on there a little bit.
Yes.
But now he's been utilizing it like a real tool
Yes,
for
he has.
really really changing the views of a lot of people at one that like at a certain point, you know. Almost every comment or like everything that he does, I always see it's like thousands of comments, thousands of like it's he's instantly going viral on his own thing every time.
Yep.
Like every time. And it's crazy. Most of it has been political as of late. And we don't have to really get into it. But yeah, anything else you want to mention on him?
No, that was it. I was trying to keep it light to not talk about all the other crazy stuff. Just he also plays Diablo. That's it.
Yeah, that's cool. You know, I'll mention this one thing to everybody and then we'll move forward. I am actually very interested in how his robot thing is going to turn out for
Mm.
good and bad reasons. Because a part of me really do think that we might be on the cusp of like a whole Terminator ish thing.
Yes, that's why I'm 100%
uh,
against it. I've been against it since Alexa. I refuse to use that. Like when people
y-
started connecting their whole house and it's like Alexa, turn on this light, and Alexa lock
yeah,
the door. It's like what happens when that thing goes no? Like what? We've seen Terminator.
yeah.
I haven't seen mostly any movie has been good with robots. It's always bad, and we're
I
just like,
was
oh man, that's crazy. Let's do it. Like no.
I was watching this one stream earlier while doing some notes and stuff. And this one girl was like having a full blown conversation with Chat GBT, where I thought that that was like you just ask it or you just type in something and it gives you paragraphs of stuff. I didn't know it talked to you too. And like it was almost like you can hear that it's a robot, but it was very very responsive and witty and it knew slang and everything. And
Yeah.
the robots that Elon has is like similar, and I remember seeing like videos of like people talking to those and stuff. And so yeah, we're at it. We're here now. It's not really going to be something that's going to be too affordable for everybody. But I remember him saying that it was supposed to be like $30,000 a robot or something. I was the what interests me though, just thinking business wise, was like that's a valuable employee to a small business if you're trying to like start from nothing. And so that to me, that's what I was looking at. I was like, this thing could
No, that's also bad because now we're replacing
we're replacing
human
people.
workers with robots because of efficiency and only
But
having
what
to
if I don't hire the people to begin with though? Like I never hired the people to begin with. I was just like, let me get this robot. The robot can like I don't
no,
know.
it's either like you're running the business on your own because you're doing it on your own. But if you
Yeah.
need the extra help, hire a person, not a
Hire a
robot.
person.
Yeah, we're gonna
I
get
get
to
it.
a human versus robot thing. Like it's different from like this is a solo business and I'm being lazy in ordering a robot versus no, it's you legit need the help, but you find it more convenient to get a robot because that's just a slippery slope. I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
Yeah, I was really like thinking about it one day. I was like doing the math and everything. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. But yeah, we could move on. We're almost done. I just wanted to also mention the releases. So all of the stuff that's coming out in December, a couple things that have already come out. I just want to mention real quick. Nothing really big in December because we're at the end of the year, and pretty much everything, like all the big stuff, people want to have come out in time for an award show, even if their game is like not even going to be anywhere near the the game of the year category itself or anything. But the first game I wanted to mention was Marvel Rivals, that is out, I believe, right now, or at least the official date on paper says it's the 6th. But some of these streamers got it right now. I was watching people play it, so
Yeah, it's
maybe
like
some of them got early access, but I think
it's
maybe at
available for
midnight.
everybody.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, it should be available for everybody, right?
I When I
Um,
opened up Steam, it was like available right now, so
okay.
it's available for everybody.
So I don't know why they put the 6th, but okay. Well, enjoy right now if you wanted to play it. And then also a big title technically, Indiana Jones comes out on the 9th, in a few days from now. And so that's the big nostalgia game for anybody who was out there watching the movies from the 80s. That is right now Xbox release day and date on Game Pass. And I think it goes to PlayStation sometime in the middle of next year. And then the Power Ranger game is going to be coming out on the 10th. That is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. On the same day, actually, too, Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered. I believe these aren't those PS2 games or PS1
Yeah.
games? Yeah, so
Also, Secret Level. It's a TV series, but based on video games on Amazon. It's very similar to like Love, Death, and Robots, where like each episode is its own contained story, but it's supposed to be doing like stories related to video game stuff. So like, there's a whole episode that's basically Sifu, like the whole backstory and stuff. There's an episode for Pac-Man, an episode for God of War, an episode for Dungeons and Dragons, so probably Baldur's Gate. But that's going to be coming out.
I heard about that because people said they had planned an episode for Concord as well, right?
Probably.
And that didn't, like, they still did their thing. Like that kind of goes to one of your conversations earlier where it's like we already put all this time into this. We probably still go put it out,
Yeah.
but
I actually
yeah.
I saw a change.org petition for PlayStation to bring back Concord with the like headline saying "Our fault, PlayStation. We were all busy that."
Yeah, I don't agree with like you didn't make a certain sale or something within like 2 days, so we gotta just destroy it. Like it just doesn't make sense to me.
I agree
It's
with you.
like it's almost like if you just had like food or something and it's like, oh, we gotta throw out the leftovers, like Thanksgiving leftovers or something. But it's like it's not food, It's like a game, like some of these games that like I had a long laundry list of games that I mentioned, right? I'm just now buying them, right? It's like with that attitude, they would have gotten rid of all of them before I even got a chance to buy them. It's like you got to give people a chance to get around to it. Excuse me.
Exactly.
Um, Attack on Titan VR is coming out on the 17th. And then the last one that I put was Alien Rogue Incursion. That's coming out on the 19th of this month. Um, the Alien series, depending on how you look at it, I know they had some of them that's more action based, and then I think this one is going to be another one that's like very similar to the Alien Isolation game. And so, yeah, and so that's the releases for December. There's a few other ones out there you probably got to go take a look at. They were like a lot more lower profile stuff. If I missed anything, my bad. Let me know what it was. But yeah, and I think that's the show, man. Anything else you want to mention? Anything at all? We got like 30 seconds before it's an hour and a half.
Oh, nah. Stay hydrated.
Yeah, definitely stay hydrated. if you got any Thanksgiving food at this point, please throw it away. Please throw it away. Do not eat anything else from Thanksgiving. Throw it all away. Wait till next year. I had to throw out like a couple slices of pecan pie. But anyways, like, comment, share, subscribe. I will catch you on the next episode, which is going to be on a Sunday, I believe. Because of the Game Awards, we're going to come back with the results and all of the fun stuff. We're going to talk about all of that, all the premieres, and probably a viral moment from somebody who's just like should not be leaving or should not be getting out of their seat and going on stage. Hopefully they don't do nothing crazy. But at least I hope nobody gets hurt. I hope everybody is civilized, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. All right, peace.